Good morning, my loves. Happy Saturday. It is truly a bright, beautiful day here at the lake. It's about 7 a.m. It's gorgeous out. It is lovely. I think the high today is still in the 70s. Next week, we're going to take a little dip into the 60s, going to be a little chillier. It's okay. It'll stabilize. It's all good. Today, we are talking about a very important subject. Honey, I want you to love people for who they are, not who you want them to be, not who you expect them to be. Be with people not for their potential, not who you can create them to be, mold them to be. Be with them because of their authenticity, who they are. Love yourself for who you are. I mean, if you want to do self-improvement, that's great. I'm all for that. But just be you. Don't go out with different personas and trying to impress people, trying to impress yourself. Be you. Then you're going to be happy. Then you're going to attract the right people. Because so many times we surround ourselves, you date or even marry somebody because of their potential, who you can make them into. Is that really fair? No, it isn't. Because you're falling in love with, marrying, creating a life with a persona, a facade. That's not real. That's pretense. Base it on authenticity. If you create a relationship based on pretense, who you want somebody to be, who you can mold them into and make them to suit your needs, that's being built on sand, and sand will always shift. You want something rock solid. You cannot get more rock solid than authenticity, being who you are, accepting people for who they are. That is the greatest form of love, is accepting people for who they are, not who you want them to be. Hey, you are who you are, and that's great. And that's not just romantic relationships and besties and such. Honey, that needs to be your kids. Yeah. Love your children. I don't care if we're talking a newborn, if we're talking a kid in college or older. Love them for who they are. Don't force things down their throat. My mother wanted me to play cello. She was a big fan of Lawrence Welk back in the 50s and 60s. So she decided when I was 7 that I was going to play the cello. The cello was bigger than I was. Didn't matter to her. This is what you are going to do. You're going to be a cellist. Yeah, I really wasn't that interested. I played cello from the age of 7. Oh my gosh. I was over 18. I was over 18 when I stopped. Did I love it? It was okay. It was never my passion. My passion was healing, was nursing and medicine. She didn't want to hear it. This is what she wanted me to be. Yeah, no. Love me for who I am. Accept me for who I am. Now, I have an older brother that was an absolutely phenomenal athlete. I mean, he and I are estranged now, but I mean, sincerely, he was a very, very gifted athlete. And it's a good thing that was his passion, because it was my dad's passion for him. And I'm not saying they shoved it down his throat, but it was very important to my dad and, important to my brother as well. And he was very successful. And I'm very proud of him for that. But that worked out for them because that was his passion. Cello was not mine. Accept your kids for who they are. If you want your child to be a basketball player because you love basketball and your child has no aptitude for that, no interest, that's okay. Find out what they are interested in and build on that. And by the same token, if your child is interested in sports, and I can think of several families off the top of my head that have kids in junior high and high school, their kids are interested in sports. They kind of want to play football and basketball and soccer and, be on the track team. And the parents are like, yeah, no, we're more computer nerds. We do music and we do computer. Yeah, no, that's not us. No, that's not important. You're cheating your child. Your child needs that. That's who they are. Let them be who they are. Encourage them to be who they are. Be proud of them. Nurture that. Because I want you to think back in your life when you were growing up, when you were in elementary school, grammar school, what your interests were. Who nurtured that? Who stood behind that? Who fed that? Junior high, high school. Who fed your interests? Who stood behind you and cheered you on? And by the same token, who told you you were wasting your time and that was stupid and knock it off? Yeah. You see my point? Accept your kids for who they are, not who you want them to be. I know a lot of families, adults, parents, who are very disappointed in their children because they wanted their kids to be a doctor and their kid had no interest. They wanted their children to be an orthodontist. Kid had no interest. I remember a family that the parents wanted their child to be a pharmacist. The child had no interest at all in college, did not want to do this. Told the parents, I don't want to do this. Yes, you do. This is what you're going to do. We have it planned out. The child was miserable. They didn't want, and this, we're talking about a young man that was in college, and the parents did not want him to date in college. I mean, it's a social scene. You go to football games, basketball games, fraternity parties. You do the whole thing, and you date. No, you focus on books. You can do that later. Right now, you focus on this. And in the family that I'm referring to, the young man could not take it anymore. He didn't want to be a pharmacist. He met somebody he wanted to date. He wanted to build a relationship with. His family would not stand for it. He did not do the right thing, but he took his life because he felt he didn't have one. He felt he didn't have control of his life, and he never would because of his parents. That's awful. Accept your child for who they are. Love them for who they are. Support their interests. Believe in them the way you wanted somebody to believe in you. Build relationships on rock solid foundations of authenticity. Not on sand, not on pretense, not on, gosh, I wish I could make them into this person, or, maybe if they change this and that, their style, their hair, the way they talk, their job. No, come on. That's not real. And just a side note, if you are in a relationship and it's ending, you're done. What's used to be there is not there anymore. You're just done. You're just glorified roommates. There's nothing there. Before you end it, I want two of you to sit down and have a conversation. And I want you to think back about when you first met. What attracted you to each other? What brought you together? What did you love about each other? What drove you crazy just thinking about you can't wait till you see this other person because of what? When they held your hand, did it make your heart race? When they looked in your eyes and smiled, did it just make you weak in the knees? Think about those things. It's still the same person. If you want that back, if both of you want that back, you can get it back. because you're still the same people. In relationships, as I've said so many times, one of three things happen. You grow together, you grow stagnant, and you grow apart. Nurture it. Feed the relationship. Keep those embers stirred. Keep those love lights burning. Don't let it die. So before you give up on a relationship, make sure it's worth walking away from. Because many times once you walk away, there's no going back. And if you walk away from a family, that's big. You walk away from your children, that's big. Even adult children will not take it well when parents split up. And small children, many times, will feel if a parent leaves and they meet somebody and that other person has a family, they will feel that they too have been replaced, that whoever left replaced mommy or daddy, and now they replaced all of you kids, so you don't even matter anymore. They just built a whole new life with a whole new family. Think about what you're doing. I am not telling you to stay in toxic relationships or in a relationship that's over. I'm just telling you to think. Sit down and have a conversation about it. If your children are old enough, include them in the conversation. Tell them. Mommy and daddy will always be friends, but we're just not in love. Not like that anymore. And I'm okay with that, and daddy's okay with that, or mommy's okay, whatever it is. And you need to be okay with it too, because we're always going to love you. That's never an issue. It's just we're not in love. We're not best friends anymore. Have a conversation. Your kids are worth it, and so are you. Your relationship is worth it.